Hello everyone. We are live at our Makers Marathon, webinar number 9. Sorry for a small delay, we had small technical difficulties, but it's great to see everyone. Hello Nicola. Hi, so let us know in the chat on the right side if how is the connection quality and if you can hear and see as well. So for everyone who is new to the webinar, on the right side we have a chat where we talk to each other. So if you have any questions or want to comment on something that we are showing or telling about, feel free to type it in the chat on the right side. Also, we have a questions tab where if you have any particular question which you want to be saved during the webinar, feel free to type it there. So we'll be sure that it's not lost anywhere, and we'll be checking out all the questions in the end of the webinar. And we also have the polls, which I will post in a minute, where we use those to get your opinion on things, and to get some feedback from you, how for how long you're using Robo Wunderkind, and how old is the child who is playing with, and so on.
Yuri, sorry for interruption. We just got in the chat that we cannot hear you. It's strange because I can hear you, but okay. Nicola and Tanya cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Hopefully.
Oh, now you can hear. Oh yeah, it's okay. Sorry, just Tatiana cannot hear.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone can hear everyone. Probably Tatiana has some problems. Can you please check that?
Yeah, so probably some connection issues.
Yeah,
but,
sorry.
Yeah, so today with me together is Sofia. Sofia, hi. How's it going?
It's really good. It's super sunny here in Berlin, which is quite rare. So I have really nice mood, you know. You even can see shadows from the sun on my face. So yeah, that's pretty cool actually. So I'm pretty excited to do today's webinar. It's the 9th one, and we're pretty close to, you know, this exciting end and the prize.
Yeah, so we've been for quite some time already, almost honestly. Okay, so I'm publishing the post right now, so it'd be really great if you guys could give us some input from your side. Okay, so yeah, let's jump into the presentation. Actually, I'm really excited about this week. We have some really cool projects prepared for you, and I hope you will like it as well. So let me just start sharing my screen and we'll jump right into it. Okay, so you should be able to see the screen now.
Yep, we see that.
Still loading. Okay, great. So welcome everyone to Makers Marathon number 9. It's great to see everyone. So the what is Makers Marathon for the new participants over there? Makers Marathon is 10 weeks, 10 challenges, 10 webinars, which were designed for parents and children. So you guys can kind of like take a dive into robotics and coding and learn something new together, and spend a really nice time learning and playing with robots. So so we structured the Makers Marathon this way, that we start on Tuesday, where we hold a webinar like this, where we build a project together with you guys. We explain to you some really cool features, some really nice, some interesting things about robotics and coding. We give out the topic for the challenge for the challenge for this week. We review your submissions from the previous challenge, and we announce the winner. So let's actually, we're gonna review the project later. So every week, if you participate by the end of the webinar, you are able to get you will get a star. So you can, if you collect 7 of those stars, you can win a super prize, which we will announce on them actually next week, which is pretty exciting. So by the end of each week, the winner gets additional modules, which actually really, really good reason to participate in the webinars. Apart from just making really great projects, you can actually expand your library of Robo Wunderkind blocks. Okay, and let's jump into last week's projects. We had, I think it was 3 amazing projects about the storytelling. And let's actually check them out. Like, we have some really, really good ones. So, okay. So, if you can see my screen right now, you should be able to see the video. So this project is from Meredith, about the hungry caterpillar. So
There is actually no sound, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
But just to sum up, it was a very nice project.
Yeah. So this is a story about the caterpillar, right? So who is eating an apple, then eating some plums, some other fruits, but it's not enough. So she eats everything. But I really love the like the props and how they made the caterpillar. It looks, I guess this is kind of like a famous story. I like, guys, if you know this story, actually, let us know in the chat. Sophie, do you know this story?
No, I actually never heard this story, but it's very dependent on your cultural background. It really depends if you were born in United States or in an English-speaking environment, or I had very different stories about childhood. So
yeah, but in the end, so caterpillar gets into the butterfly over there, so he gets some wings. It's a really cool story. It's great to see like kids actually sharing their favorite stories about just sharing their favorite stories and being able to recreate them.
Yeah, I see Nico saying that it's an English classic, and
okay.
Every English school. You see, I've never been to English school, but I can believe it's a classical,
Great. Okay, so the next project is from Iona, and it's themed on Harry Potter.
It's a little bit cheating,
Yeah, so we actually, we discussed the Harry Potter last week, and like I think this project is amazing. Like the way you guys did the props, and how you made those glasses and this scar in the shape of the lightning. It's incredible. Yeah, so let's check it out. So I think, so if I'm not mistaken, this is from the, the name of this chapter is like the Goblet of Fire. Is it correct?
I think it was the 4th book.
Yes, I think it was the 4th or the 5th.
Or whatever, right? It was the golden egg and so on.
Yes, the Goblet of Fire, exactly. Yes, that was, so I was correct, exactly. So I definitely see those dragons there, Yeah, and the labyrinth. Yeah, it's incredible how you guys recreated like all the scenes, and the sword, and yeah, like it really look like the robot really looks like Harry Potter. We should to give some props for that. Yeah, it's incredible.
I like it too.
Yeah, so here's the labyrinth where it's yeah, there should be this goblet in the center of the labyrinth. Yeah, so this is the product from Liana. So great job, guys. I really really loved it personally. So thank you so much for submitting it. Okay, and we have a last project from. So it was from Mira and Jonathan. So let me open it. So just a second.
Is it working?
Yes. So yeah, just 2 seconds. It's coming. Yeah. So here we are. So the third project is from Mira and Jonathan. I think. I hope you guys are in the chat right now. So let us know how you. Oh, probably not. Okay, but nevertheless, let's check it out. So I think this is the this is also like a German story. So this is about the child who cannot fall asleep, I think. Yeah. So and yeah. So the there's actually a lot of stuff going on here. So the uh, yeah. So we have the LEDs here, which like indicate the parts of the story, I guess. And so the cool thing about this project is that like along the story, so there's like the different parts of the story where the robot like gets different like hats, right? So this kind of like transforms him into different character, and so the motor here it's kind of like rocking the child there and helping him fall asleep. So yeah, so Sophia, do you know this story and like how do you like this project?
I've never heard the story. As I said, it's very really cultural related. But I was enjoying watching it, and I also like that. You know, it's German story, but the guys who did it, they also put some subtitles in English for people who don't understand German. This is also very lovely, so everyone can read and see and understand. This is very very nice.
Yeah, so I think we should really give them for like the how they were able to recreate the whole story through those heads, right? Because like the robot kind of like needs to change the characters, and the way they worked around it was by putting this wheel with different hats on the back of the character, and like the spinning of the yeah, like the changing of the hats, which like it helps to tell the story and the changes of the character, which is pretty cool, I think.
I also like that it was filmed, like putting all what we learned before together. So this is also very, very nice.
Yeah, so we at the end here we see how like they planned it. So it actually also kind of like takes the reference to one of the previous projects, right, where we discussed the like planning of the project and events.
Yep.
And sketching it out. So they sketched out the story over here. And like, guys, take a look at this code. Like, this is just some next level. So like, there's so many. I can definitely see that somebody over there definitely has a background in programming. Like, there's yeah. So there's so many functions uses there, and yeah. So we definitely have to give for that as well. And yeah, so the code is just, it's incredible. I think this is one of the most complex projects I've seen in a while. So very, very well made.
So I probably want to say on this note that actually this project is actually a winner of this week, because all we just listed here, it's, you know, all in all, it's the use of all previous topics, like some of them, and also the code and the props and everything all together. This project is super cool. So this is our winner today.
Yeah, so congratulations to Mira and Jonathan. And I'm trying to get back to my presentation, but
probably it's my turn now, because I'm going to announce this week.
Okay, so I cannot open the presentation back again, but yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm going to share mine. Maker smartphone name. Yep. Here we go. Yep. Okay. And as a tradition, I'm going to ask some questions before I announce the topic. And the first one, do you remember when we talked about engineering and robotics engineering? Do you remember who these engineers and robotics engineers are? Just use the chat to answer the question if you want to. Yuri, do you remember who engineers and robotics engineers are?
Yeah, so the engineers are people who trying to solve who's solving the problems pretty much with their projects.
That's very true. And robotics engineers, they just solve the challenges using machines. They create, they design, and test machines. But all in all, why do people create new things? Why should we create something new?
Well, actually, there might be some different reasons. Yeah, first of all, like if something doesn't work, we can fix it within the things, right? If we can improve something, like if it works but we still can improve it, like I think we should also create new things to make the life better.
Yeah, and also Nicola says that to make life easier, that's very, very
true. Yeah.
Exactly, better, easier, and also to help the planet. Exactly, we talked about it before. And okay, the last question is, can some robots and robotic tools be seen as an extension of humans? This question is quite tricky. I know it sounds so scientific, but I will probably explain you what I mean. Like, for example, humans are very slow. You can walk, you can run, but not for a long time. This is why we invented bikes, bicycles, cars, trains, and even airplanes. And now we can not only be super fast, but we can also fly, or we can also swim for long distances in the ocean. And can all these machines be seen as our extension? Is like, something that we kind of relate as to our body. And this is a very interesting question for me personally, because as you can see on this presentation, this huge robotic arm, and there is the astronaut at the end, and this astronaut can control this arm to be in the space. And it's just so amazing that humans, they cannot really be in the space. We will die there. But just using technologies, we can do that. What do you think, Yuri? Can this be seen as, just the part of humans?
Well, it definitely helps humans to do some work which requires some abilities which humans don't have, I guess. Yeah, so that's where it can be useful.
Yep. That's very cool. So today we are going to talk about robotics again, but in more details and just, more advanced robotics. We're going to talk about mechanical tools and some materials. So the project is a grabber tool, but we will talk about it a little bit later. We will start with some discussion and inspiration, and then we will build something with additional materials and just code hand fun. By the end of this webinar, we will know what advanced robotics is, what mechanical robotic tools are, and also we'll be able to create their own project with some additional materials. So just to remind you about engineering, this is the video we supposed to watch last time, not the last time, the time before, but anyway, it's about engineers, design, and robots, and we just discussed it, and I think we don't need to talk about it anymore. I see, guys, that you quite remember that. So I just wanted to move to something more advanced, and I want to talk about machines. So the machines that are designed by humans, they can be very different. And the first rule of every machine, for design of a machine, is to be ergonomic. What does it mean, ergonomic? So it's made from safe and enduring materials, it's efficient, it's comfortable, it's productive and safe to operate.
Yeah, so it's probably not the first rule for the machine to be ergonomic, because there are many machines which are not ergonomic. But this, the ergonomics is actually pretty important if something is designed to be used by humans. So the ergonomics is it's kind of like ergonomics is a field of science, I guess, which helps us to design things specifically for humans. Because the humans, they have their own structure and the way they operate, right? And so the tools they use, they also should be designed specifically for them, right? For example, if you I don't know, the ladder, for example, which we built a few webinars ago. So when we design a ladder, we place the button in a specific place where it's easier for us to press it, right? We don't press it. We don't place it in the place where it's impossible to press it. So the ergonomics is pretty much optimization of the design for human use to make it easier to use for human. Exactly.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for your comment. And I also was wondering if you know something about the materials we can use for more ergonomic design. You probably, as a designer, you probably know about it a little bit more than me. So can you please share some experience, maybe?
Regarding ergonomic design?
Ergonomic design and materials, especially. As I know that very, very different materials are used for robots, starting from plastic to some metallic parts. So what can be the difference in these materials, for example?
So different materials have different properties, right? So some of them are more rigid, some of them are more soft. Depends on which parts we are talking about. For example, if we're talking about the handles or something like that, it's easy. It's better to use the materials which are softer, or provide the better haptics, because this is where the material is touching the skin, right? And we don't want the skin to be damaged. So that's why we use like silicone or rubber or something like that. But the parts which are mainly mechanical and require a lot of like structural strengths, they can be done with metal and other hard materials.
Yeah, thank you, Yuri. It's actually good insight. So just some examples of robotic tools people use. On the left side, you see the machine that helps people. If I'm not mistaken, it's kind of a laser which does the holes. So we can, the humans are not that strong to do the holes in the metallic metal, so we use robots. On the right side, we have a robot which helps humans to film and take pictures from above. So we cannot really fly, so we use the drones to shoot movies, for example. So this is very handy. And another thing I really want to share with you is an exoskeleton. Maybe you guys heard about it. Share in the chat what you know. But on the left side, you see human in this exoskeleton placed alongside the body. And if you look at this from biomimicry perspective, you actually can see that this is what we have taken from some insects. The insects' bodies are actually very soft and they need some protection. So they are designed by nature to be in the special exoskeletons, which are extremely, extremely
Powerful, or well, I mean that like they are more like they can provide more strength
exactly.
than a human. Yeah.
Like think about ants or bees. They're so small, but they can carry so big things. Yeah, this is what exoskeleton they help. And so humans just took this idea and made the exoskeleton. So the exoskeleton might be used for some people with injuries, so just to protect their body and to help. On the left side, we see a picture, and someone with an injury has an exoskeleton and can, walk with it. That's just very simple use of it. On the right side, you see the exoskeleton that astronauts use. They put it on themselves to control different things, to control this huge extension arm, or to control different robotic arms in the space. This is what I'm talking about now. It's a robotic arm. On the left side, we have the robotic arm, which is used in factories or in space. And also now humans are designing the robotic arms for people who, for some reason, do not have an arm or two. So we are really close to this point when we will have really robotic parts of our bodies, which is, I think, pretty exciting. And another example, we already talked about is space. So on the right side, you see a robot that can collect some data from Mars because humans just cannot really land there. Yeah, that's it. I also have a nice video for you guys if you want to watch it later. It's about robotics and robotic tools from the same channel about engineering for kids. And I personally really like their approach to science. And I also wanted to talk with you about the Week 7. Do you remember we talked about engineering design process? And this is exactly the process we should also use today for designing our tool. And this is some of the projects you guys created in our webinars, in our challenges. And exactly these projects, a great example of robotic tools use. On the left side, we have the soybean machine, which has very long path for soybeans. And and on the right side is the project from Iona, if I'm not mistaken, and it has a robotic arm. So that's actually a great example of some robotic tools. And today we're going to make our own robotic tool, and it's probably the time for Yuri to continue.
Yeah, so today we're going to be focusing on like gears and how the gears can be used to create a robotic arm. So what's cool about Robo Wunderkind blocks that kind of like in the design, we already embedded the connections where the LEGO Technic part can be placed. So with the extension of gears, you can build pretty cool like mechanical like devices, I guess. So in our case, it's gonna be the grabber, and we're gonna go live from discussing the details which we chose to actually building the project.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's do it.
The presentation, it's better for you to go just.
Okay. Yeah. So the parts which we had in hand, it totally depends on like which parts you have at home. But so in our case, that we had a few gears lying around. So so we had different sizes, and you kind of like have to pick and kind of like try different sizes around, together to make sure they fit into pattern and like fit to your project. Yeah, so for in our case, we had this big gear with like the whole pattern. And what's cool about it that we can snap it on top of the servo right away without any additional tools. So it fits perfectly to the connection pins over there. And yeah, so from here, we can take our other gears and start adding to our pattern, to our whole pattern, to transfer the motion from this servo over here, which will drive our grabber. And yeah, so our goal is to transfer the motion from this servo to these two gears, which will have the which will be connected together like this. Let me touch it this way. Okay, so they're interconnected, right? So if one closes one direction, another one closes in the opposite. So if we attach the kind of like our arms to it, it would be a perfect solution for a grabber. Okay, so let's add missing gears so we can complete our like way of transferring the motion. Yeah, so the thing with gears, as I said, like you have to really like pick the right spot for it, where to place it exactly, because yeah, with different, like there are different sizes, and you have to like really find the right spot on the pattern to make it fit. So in our case, so if we place it over here, it fits perfectly to transfer the motion over here. And the last gear kind of like connects two parts together. Okay, so if I should put this pin over here, and so I'm connecting to all the gears together, and so here you can see that if I rotate this gear, all these mechanisms starting to move, which is pretty cool. And we're halfway there to build our robotic grabber. So check this out. It's already looking pretty cool. Okay, so let's add the arms to our build. So we have to make sure that the arms are aligned kind of like symmetrically, because we want our arms to be open and closed kind of like at the same time. Okay, so we take a look at the holes and make sure that they are more or less symmetrical. So we add the second arm over here, and it looks pretty close, but I will fix it a little bit. I think it should look better. Okay, so now we have this mechanism here. When we turn the gear on the servo, this grabber starts to move and closes its pinch. It's what is the name for this thing actually? Like, so is it pinching? Is it grabbing? Okay.
I think it's both.
Okay. Yeah, probably. All right. Okay, so like you might think we already like there, right? Because this thing already can grab, but we added a nice the final touch to this thing, because so this the end of this grabber is kind of it's pretty small, and because it's plastic, right? It can be pretty slippery, so like it cannot grab some things which I don't have a very like rough texture or something like that. So what we added was, like on the ends here, we can put the cross beams. So we just use the some wheels which have the like really nice rubber tires on them, which are like really soft, and they allow us to grab some things without like not exactly damaging, but like to grab them really gently.
Without squeezing them, right?
Exactly, yes.
So I have a really nice reference to the real life. Have you ever seen this machine when you put the coin in and you have to grab the fluffy toy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's always just slips out of this grab.
Exactly.
I'm like,
yeah.
Why? You know, I lost it so many times, but once I won it, because I have a trick in my mind. You can grab two toys at the same time, and they just stuck there.
Okay, so the more you grab together, the higher the I mean, like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's harder for it to fall out, right?
Yeah, exactly. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice trick. Okay, so we actually just made our own grabber. So look at this. So when I'm rotating the servo, it closes. If I rotate the other direction, it opens up. And so let's try it in action. So for this project, we're going to be using Robo because it will allow us to quickly like control and grab the things that we want. And let's test it on, I don't know, different objects I have here in my table. So I have a lot of Robo Wunderkind blocks, so maybe we can grab something and see if it works.
I actually have an idea how we can make this project even more advanced. We can add motors, so our tool can drive to something, grab it, and bring it to us.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, like some cola or some juice.
Yeah. So, guys, that's a nice idea for you to to build in your project.
Yeah. For lazy people, I'm quite lazy. Sometimes I need my, club mate, and I just need to go to the kitchen, and now I just can use my rubber grabber tool to bring me my club mate,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would be so cool. Just write a program, press a button, and it brings you everything. What else can you be wishing? That's so cool.
Yeah, Nico was saying that it's on his favorite app because it's so immediate, and
yeah.
I absolutely agree. I love how fast it works. You just don't need to think about it anymore. Just grab it.
Okay, so whoops. Okay. So my robot is already starts moving. I will not really be showing the screen. I mean, like, I will not going to be demoing how I place the controls on the screen. This pretty much going to be only the server over here, and we're going to try to. So I'm going to be controlling the rotation of the servo, and so as you can see, our grabber opens and closes and can grab things. Okay, so let's try to grab something. So okay, if I don't know, if I place the camera like this, okay, let's try to grab this cube over here and see if it will work out. Okay, so I place the like this. Okay, so as you can see, it's actually pretty strong to hold the Robo Wunderkind cube, which is pretty cool. So if I release it, so I can just drop it somewhere, and yeah. So this is like what would be like what we can see here, that it can be a really cool like extension of the moving robot. So if like really, it would be really cool if we could add the motors in here and just make it drive around and like pick and place things. I think it would be pretty cool. Yeah, so I guess that is pretty much it.
Yeah, thank you. It was actually very, very cool. I enjoyed it very much. Maybe I'll try to do something like this. But yeah, from my perspective, it's quite advanced robotics already, because you need to think about the size and, be quite precise in what you're doing. But yeah, thank you, Yuri, so much for that. I'm just continue with...
Yeah, that might be a great exercise for everyone to learn the mechanics. I think, yeah, it might look complicated, but like if you just have the right tools, the gears, and like it's actually not that hard to make it work. And the amount of modules is minimal. You just need a servo, and that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. And I also like how it looks like. It's, not this just colorful blocks anymore. It's pretty much a cool robotic, solution.
Yeah.
Quite advanced. Yeah, thank you so much. So the goal for the next week is create a robotic tool for robo using any materials you want. You don't need just to start with Lego. You can do something else. Yeah, that's pretty it. Just take picture or maybe even shoot a video of how you use this tool. Okay, that's pretty
cool.
The deadline is Sunday, the last day of May, and next time we're going to have the final webinar.
Yeah, so let's maybe talk about this. I think yeah, we're still kind of like trying to figure out what would be the best way to make the last webinar and to make the announcement of the winners of the 10 weeks. But I think what would make sense that we make the last webinar kind of like as usual, right? Because we have like our own projects, and we still want to make the last 10th challenge. And then after that, we make like a grand finale where we just make the final webinar where we announce the final winner, the winner of the 10th webinar, and the winners of the grand prizes.
Yeah, it's a good idea because we also have a very nice topic for the next webinar, and I'll be really sad if we won't make it. The next one is Robo Blockly, but an advanced Robo Blockly code. I'm pretty excited to learn it too. I love coding Robo Blockly. So yeah.
Yeah. So we still have one more challenge to go. So yeah, it's going to be about the advanced coding with Robo Blockly. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, so it will be this challenge for today with Robotic 2 and one more the next week. And then we will make the 11th live stream just to revise some projects, see our winners, and just, chat a bit.
Cool. Okay, so I will post the information about the where to submit your projects. As usual, you can use the Instagram hashtag #MakersMarathon, or send us directly via email to makersmarathon@robotic.com. Check out our YouTube channel for some cool inspiration and different projects. Also, you can use the RoboMaker code to get your 10% discount on additional blocks or kits, and collect your final, not actually final, 9-star using the link in the message. Okay, so I think that should be pretty much it. So guys, if you want to register for the last webinar already now, I will post the link in the chat as well. Yeah, so that should be pretty much it for this week. It was great to catch up with you guys and build some really cool projects. Yeah, thank you so much. Sophia, thank you for a great presentation as well.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I'm pretty much excited to see how much progress we've done for this all these webinars. You know, I'm seeing now that we are doing some advanced robotics tools. You know, and with some just Robo Life projects. So I'm really excited to see what's coming next. Yeah. So thank you everyone for participating. This is really nice.
Thank you guys. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye-bye.